Hello, and welcome to Girls Run These Worlds. We are the last of these beautiful holiday one shots, and tonight we're gonna play a cozy mystery murder one shot of Brindlewood Bay. Look at all these beautiful faces here with me. We're missing one, but else, we're still doing amazing. We're at the very last show before we go in dark on the 23rd. But, never worry. We can get back into that creator up in January. We're going dark while taking the break. Everybody needs a little rest between the years and the darkest time of the year. And we're gonna, try and bring it in with some just light-hearted, homicide. I mean, it's really not a big deal. I'm Vivisha. I am your storyteller tonight, and we're going to be playing Brindlewood Bay, which is a role-playing game, which is basically powered by the apocalypse, but a little layered down. This is about a group of elderly women, and all of them are members of the local Murder Mavens Mystery Book Club. And they kind of ended up investigating murders because their local Sheriff Dalrymple, can be a little slow on the uptake. And our smarty pants seniors just get fed up with that. I mean, they don't have that much time left. Let's figure out what's going on. Now, this game has a very Murder She Wrote 80s, 70s TV show vibe. It's a cozy whodunit. You can get as dark as I want to, but we're going to play it cozy today. Basically, the aim of our characters is, or their characters, I consider myself a character too, to keep their community safe. So they will step in on a whim when they think the sheriff is not holding it up. You might find some kitschy campy humor here. You might find a little bit of serious undertones. Heads up, there will be murder. There will be no watching up the murder. There will be no gore. We are not playing, Bluebeard's Bride. We're playing Brindlewood Bay. Now, thinking of our group of murder mavens, they're living in the village of Brindlewood Bay. Brindlewood Bay is a northern East Coast village. It's a little bigger. They still call it village because you know what? We've got to get the tourists in. It used to be a whaling community, and now it's touristy. It has some industry, but they're hiding it. There's a good amount of seniors hanging around. At this time of the year, we just had a nice nor'easter, just swept everything and covered it in snow. Now imagine that here comes the camera, and it says Brindlewood Bay, Jingle Bell Shot, with nice snowflakes, a little bit of nice Christmas music, and it swoops in, and we're getting closer to one of our murder mavens' homes. Katie, as the camera comes down, describe where your murder maven is right now.
Yeah. So my murder maven is in her little house and she is sitting in her rocking chair by the fire. And as we zoom in, you can see her knitting just like very rapidly. The needles are clickety clacketing. And as it continues to pan down even further, you see her orange tabby Gordon completely tangled in the ball of wool and just rolling back and forth on the floor.
That is very nice. As Birdie watches her cat be a complete mischievous, furball. We zoom in on her face. There's the camera freeze, and what does the screen say?
Screen comes in with that like action movie text of Katie McLean as Birdie.
As the camera swoops out further and leaves Birdie to deal with the mess that her cat made. We are swooping out. We can see the choppy ocean. We're coming back. 2 words: Brindlewood Bay. Ava, where do we find your murder maven at this time of holiday cheer?
You can find my murder maven at her home as well. She is sitting at her desk at in her office, large window in front of her, watching as the snow is slowly coming down, as she's just typing away at her computer and pondering out loud just names and trying to figure out actions. So if I put Paul here, but maybe here. No. I'm gonna, we'll put Melissa there as she's typing up a new story for her blog.
As the typing gets louder, we see Marilyn put her finger up and go, hmm. And the screen freezes. What does it say?
It says Ava Couture as Marilyn.
Very Murder She Wrote, but newer. As the camera swoops back out and you get a little bit of the wind blowing snow by, we're swooping in up to our last murder maven's uh, house. Aaron, what is your murder maven doing?
So Helena is doing her. She has a Christmas tradition of watching a bad Christmas B movie every year. She's in what she calls her home theater, but it's basically a den with a old CRT TV and uh, a VCR and a bunch of stacks of tapes that she collected during her old public access television days. And she is watching Santa Claus Conquers the Martians, a notoriously bad movie.
As you see the screen, of her TV like brighten up onto her face, and she goes, it freezes, and what does it say?
It says Erin Tierney as Helena.
And as the uh, camera swoops out and we get an overview of the beautiful Brindlewood Bay covered in mostly virgin snow, it will say Vivacia as your storyteller. And the theme music starts. Now, for those viewers who have watched more than one episode of our Brindlewood Bay show with our murder mavens, will know that they all are in a book club together. They love murder mystery and whodunit books, and their very very favorite is the Amanda Delacourt books by Robin Masterson. It is the Gold Crown Mysteries. All of y'all meet once a month, maybe more, depending on how busy you are with your nieces and nephews all over the world. Because we have an unending supplies of nieces and nephews who do interesting things and invite us places. This is where we meet and talk about the latest book and talk shit about people, basically. Um, if we would learn a little bit more about each character that she might not tell a stranger, maybe about their history, what would you tell our viewers? And this way, I would say go the other way. Let's put Aaron on the spot twice in a row. What would our viewers know about your murder maven that they would have learned over multiple episodes?
So, Helena, back in the day, when she was younger, she had a public access horror TV show, very local, but sort of in the vein of like Tales from the Crypt or Elvira. She went by Madame Hontra. It's not a very well-known thing. She kept her lives pretty separate. But yeah, she did that. And then later, when she got a little older, she did some radio stuff. But that's always been her little secret.
All right, Miss Ava, what would our esteemed viewers have learned about your murder maven over, the last, I don't know, 10, 20, 200 episodes of our show?
So Marilyn has lived a full life adopting and caring for a vast array of different people. And from these people, she picks up different hobbies. And one of her favorites is using tarot cards that she picked up from, surprisingly, a very perky cheerleader that was really into grunge music, but she loves her regardless. She uses her tarot cards whenever her second husband is off traveling for work or for anything to keep up to date with his shenanigans because he has a tendency to not tell her when bad things happen. So every now and then, when she gets an inkling, she'll pull a card and then just call him and nag him for not telling her that he had the flu.
Oh, I can imagine that. Card in hand, attitude on her face.
The tower said you had a cold.
How dare you not tell me?
You always tell me when it's the tower.
All right, Miss Katie, how would the viewers completely lost my train of thought, ADHD, would have gotten to know Birdie over, the episodes.
Yeah. So viewers would know that Birdie goes absolutely nowhere without the world's most massive carpet bag that is just full of at least 3 knitting projects on the go at any given time. And that every episode she tries to avoid her cat stuffing itself into the bag. But every episode the cat manages to get into the bag and come on the adventure. And they would also know that she picked up knitting as a hobby when she was working as a midwife and like making baby blankets for all the babies, and she just never stopped.
Oh, that is amazing. Right. As the holidays come closer, uh, the Murder Mavens as a club have decided that this year they would together go as part of the Brindlewood Bay Lunch Club's annual uh, Ugly Christmas Sweater Carolathon fundraiser, and they would participate as a group, going around singing Christmas carols, appropriate or non-appropriate, wearing their best ugly Christmas sweaters, because we definitely have to be better than that scrapbooking club, that is meeting at the library. Absolutely, we have to be. So, in the midst of gently falling snows, the Murder Mavens take to the streets for this annual Ugly Christmas Sweater Carolathon. And each of these women is a unique blend of festive attire and, their distinctive personality. And they, add this colorful touch to this wintry scene. Please describe me your ugly Christmas sweater, Ava.
Marilyn's ugly Christmas sweater is a very, very gaudy sweater. It's ugly in the fact that it's just so obnoxiously gaudy and not the fact that it's traditionally ugly. There's sparkles, there's like shimmers, there's like tassels, and you could barely make out the words and the image of it because it's just so like collected together. And it always says Vixen did nothing wrong during the games. And that's it. And it's just the most glamorized reindeer you could ever see in your life. And that's just it.
I love that. All right. Aaron, how about Helena's sweater?
I think Helena's sweater is it is a uh probably gotten from like one of those like Etsy custom ones. It's like an Aran sweater with those types of like woven patterns, but it's almost a frame with the likeness of one of her nephews just face on the center. I think it was a gift, and I think this is the only time of year that she wears it.
Definitely got to get a picture of that and put it on the book of faces, right? Because I am wearing it. Do you see it? I'm wearing it. All right, Katie, how about Birdie?
So Birdie is very clearly wearing a hand knit sweater, and it's very clearly hand knit specifically for this occasion because it has a very stylized image of her cat Gordon like singing carols badly on the sweater. But the important part is that her cat is around her neck like a scarf, and the cat is wearing a matching sweater that has her singing carols badly on the back of it. So that's what's going on there.
All right, with all of this expressiveness going on, there's snowflakes. They're delicate and glistening like tiny diamonds. They swirl in the glow of the lamplights around the more historical parts of Brindlewood Bay. Their eclectic holiday attire, very colorful, all the soft and bright hues, they blend with the pristine snow. And sometimes we see a little glimpse of the festive decorations adorning the houses, some more appropriate than others, some just having a very Snoopy tree in their front yard. Others all the way, twinkling lights, frosted windows, fake frosted windows, reflecting the warmth within. If when you take a deep breath just before you start singing again, you smell the faint scent of wood smoke from all the fireplaces in the area, mingling with the earthy aroma of the damp snow. What would your maidens smell like as you're making your way through? If somebody would walk up, would one of y'all smell like a vapor? Feel free to jump in. I always feel weird when I'm assigning people. It's like, would you carry a coffee? Or maybe some hot apple cider?
Listen, if it's snowing and it's at all damp, then it doesn't smell good. It's a combination of wet sheep and wet cat. Like, no one enjoys this.
Would she try to cover it up? Or would she proudly
No,
wear her animal
I
smell?
think it's just like she's so nose blind to it, like it's her own house. She's around it all the
Yeah.
time. She's like, "What are you talking about? Don't be rude."
Someone definitely has tried to gift her like perfume, and she's like, "Oh, this is wonderful for the house," and it's just house perfume now.
She just walks in and spurts it, and then that's
the
it. It
curtains.
just lingers in the air. Yeah, exactly.
I think I'm trying to think of Yankee Candle smells. Probably some type of like hot chocolate and parchment paper type of vibe, because she likes books, but also she doesn't drink coffee, so like a hot chocolatey parchment scent.
Maybe you're carrying a cup of hot chocolate to make sure that you can sing the best, and the others, you don't like coffee. Maybe you brought some mulled cider, spiked or not, to make sure that you can sing your loudest. So as the it is snowing. It's not snowing hard. It's snowing, the cute snow, just a little bit to make everything sparkly and pretty. It gently kisses your faces as you move and you start caroling. What song do you think you guys would sing? Well, rows over, you hear a group of younger people singing. Grandma got run over by a reindeer.
I think Helena is immediately going to try to sing louder, just like "Good King Wenceslas looked at on the," just like she is not a good singer. She's a little bit tone deaf. Um,
Birdie is like mutter singing underneath your loudness of on the feast of goddamn these knit threes, eat Steven.
And Marilyn's been trying to keep up with like one of the other like adopted kids that she's had, and she's really on an Eartha Kitt type of binge. So she's like exaggerating and doing shimmies as she's singing Santa Baby. Just like the tassels just jingle. Santa Baby. Tip a stable.
So as the harmonious or not quite so harmonious voices of the murder mavens resonate through the crisp winter air, they weave together with, grandma, got run over by a reindeer, and some distant laughter from the other carolers. You're walking through the snow. There's like soft crunches that's almost like percussion underneath your singing, and you catch yourself walking in time with your singing. And every now and again, there's a little jingle of, somebody's clothes who might have, little belts on them, because you know what? This is an ugly sweater competition. Yes, it is. As you're making your way towards the grand home of Emilia Hawthorne, you see this beautiful home. It has, if you're in Who Will, she definitely had a gun for the lights. She pays somebody to put up the most beautiful lights when she comes up, when the holiday season comes up for Hawthorne Manor. As you come up and you're singing, the front door opens and a tall middle-aged woman in a red suit steps out onto the porch, looks at you guys, waits for a break in the singing and says, "Would you be willing to sing a funeral dirge instead?" Commercial break. As we come back from the commercials, and this, dun 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 moment, we find the murder mavens stopped in their singing, looking at Miss Caroline Hawthorne, which is the niece of Miss Emilia Hawthorne. And you can see that she's serious.
I think it takes Birdie a second to cotton on. She's like, "Oh, Danny boy, wait, hold on."
She said funeral, dear, funeral.
Oh, Danny boy is absolutely for funerals, isn't it?
I was gonna say Silent Night, but who
that's
died?
definitely not for funerals.
Isn't Silent Night about a birth and not a funeral?
It's
All right. So she kind of clutches her very delicate and elegant necklace and says, "I've already called Sheriff Dalrymple, but I know that you ladies sometimes have a step up on him. Why don't you come inside, it seems like my aunt Amelia was just found dead in her bedroom. And as she leads you into the house, you know that Amelia Hawthorne is kind of a pariah in Brindlewood Bay. She's known to be miserly and cruel, and more than happy to throw her weight around with the town council in order to get her way. Very few people will be sad to hear she's dead, but you once saw a different side of her, a moment that humanized her. What happened? I think she's about your age.
I think someone that she truly cared for, they had a very big falling out and they were never able to come back together on that.
You think that hurt her? That emotionally she still carried that with her?
Yeah, she seems like a petty old coot.
So, as Carolyn Hawthorne uh, leads you inside of Hawthorne Manor, um, you follow her into the entryway. I don't think they call it an entryway in such a big, amazing foyer. There you go. For a big manor, for the fancy people, it's a foyer. As you step into the foyer, you're greeted by the opulence of Hawthorne Manor. Twinkling Christmas lights adorn the grand staircase, casting a warm, festive glow across the antique furniture and polished marble floors. The room is decked with lavish decorations, a towering Christmas tree with, you know, heirloom Christmas ornaments. It definitely doesn't look like she bought them at the Walmart next town over. No, these have some patina on it. There's some stockings hung with care. There's garlands of holly and mistletoe that add a touch of holiday cheer. And you notice that the portraits of the Hawthorne ancestors, all the way from when they came over, as pilgrims, colonizers, uh, they seem to be watching the proceedings with silent judgment. You can hear like echoes of the careless voices still linger from outside, but inside, it's like there's a somber hush that has fallen over this home. There's like creaks and groans from the old house. There's mixed with the distant sounds of Chestnut the Fourth, Amelia Hawthorne's beloved Pekingese dog, and he's mournfully barking. And you seem to hear voices coming from the dining room. She leads you towards the formal dining room. Um, you can smell the festive remnants of the feast that was prepared for the family. Chestnuts, spiced cider, some evergreens. Um, but you can feel that there's underlying tension. This does not feel like a cheery, festive home. This feels like a staged interior design, how to look in the Hamptons and look rich home. The furniture, though elegant, feels like cool to the touch and to your heart. There's leather upholstery on antique chairs. There's mahogany tables, embroidered tablecloths, and you are making yourself on the way to the dining room. As which one of you would follow right behind Caroline? Who would be the first one in after her?
I think Helena might.
So, Caroline, steps straight up through the door into the dining room, the grand dining room. You can see that there is a table that would seat 12, which kind of feels stark to with the isolation feeling that the rest of the house gave you, because you didn't see any proof that anything lived. You only heard the dog from his special room. And as you see that all of the family is in the room. The table is elegantly set. It gleams under the soft light of chandeliers. It's like refinement but tensions. Caroline Hawthorne moves over to the head of the table. She's wearing this well-tailored red women's suit. And just puts her hands at the edges. All the others. Looking around, you would see Thomas Hawthorne, which is one of Amelia's brothers, the cautious brother. He sits at the table with like a plum-colored smoking jacket, very soft demeanor. I would think that Helena would know, a lifetime of financial intricacies with her sister being her financial advisor. Very soft-spoken, very, inoffensive. Then on the other side, pretty much opposites, is Jimmy Hawthorne, the other brother, the red-faced and drunken black sheep of the family. He is actually not dressed up. He is wearing a New England Patriots sweater. It's not very clean either. And he is a thrice divorced, fun-employed black sheep of the family. Those are the first that you see. Now, Ava, when Marilyn follows in and she looks to her left, she sees that the sister-in-law, she is one of Jimmy's ex-wives. You know her because you share a common interest. She is spiritual. She's sitting there shuffling a deck of tarot cards, wearing a knowing smile. She is dressed up in dark velvets, in Christmas colors. She's wearing a big, large silver cross around her neck. So you have met her before. What do you think she would think of her? She also is basically the only friend that Amelia Hawthorne had left.
I think Marilyn and what's her name? Magdalena. I think they travel in the same. I'm like in another club that Marilyn goes to, and this one is like a ooh. What is it called? Oh my god, I'm blanking on it.
Well, she did run a new age shop in LA back in the late 80s that Amelia gave her the startup money for.
Oh. Yeah, I think that's how Marilyn has met her, is just through common interest group type of clubs. So seances, a seance meeting.
Ooh, I like that. So yeah, Magdalena is one of Jimmy's ex-wives, and generally considered she really was the only friend Amelia had. That she met through her brother, and they were still friends after they divorced because Jimmy cannot hold on to a wife of his own. And then Birdie, as you come in and you look to the right, you guys are scoping out. You see the great nephew and the great niece. You see the two younger ones. They are very interesting because they have gone on to both end up in the spotlight. Everett is Hawthorne, the great nephew. He is this ridiculously handsome movie star. And then there's Skylar, the tall and beautiful runway model. And, they kind of bring a touch of glamour amidst the family tension. It's like Everett is wearing like an oversized cable knit sweater. He is the one with the big gestures, the overuse of the finger guns. He is that kind of guy. You would know that he is most famous for the Turk Huntington series of spy films, which are, global blockbusters. And then Skylar, she is dressed very bohemian chic, very sleek for bohemian chic. So she looks put together. It's not like the freewheeling let's have fun. And she actually has, that she has worked for some of the biggest fashion houses in the world. You have seen her in magazines. And she, to you, radiates this dislike of everybody else in this room. She does not want to be there, and she keeps throwing the stink eye at her brother, and very, very much away from everybody else. Closest to Caroline, but kind of you don't even notice him until you have already seen all of the big personalities in this room. You see that there is Caroline's husband, Avery. He's wearing like a golf shirt and khakis. He looks pretty bitter. You've seen his face on like real estate billboards, so they run real estate. And it seems like he is sitting with Mother Hawthorne, the grandmother. She is ancient, buried in her furs, silent, judging everybody like a living relic of this family's long history. She doesn't care for none of these people and basically for nobody else outside. She is just the grumpy cat impersonated of old people. She wouldn't even yell to get you off the lawn. She would probably poke somebody and have them call the cops on you. Now, as you come in, it seems that there's a very nervous tension. And Caroline will invite you to sit at the table with them and say, we really, people, we have to get this together. Luckily, look who has shown up caroling at our doors. Maybe these ladies can help even before the sheriff gets here. And you guys are very impressive and very classy looking right now. Came in to help.
So when did you find her?
So Caroline kind of sits down. She opens the button on her thing. She kind of smoothes this down. And as she takes a breath to speak, you hear Jimmy get up and clink on that bar cart that's sitting in it with these beautiful, these old heavy glasses that if you dropped it into like a porcelain sink would break holes into it. These heavy glasses. Splashes himself some whiskey in it, kicks it back and says, "Murder and Christmas, my two favorite things. Maybe we should turn this into a family tradition, huh?" And Caroline just, so I went to call my aunt down for dinner. And I walked into her bedroom, and there she was. Someone had strangled her with the heirloom pearls. I came straight back down here and had Skylar call the sheriff's department, and then pretty much you guys rang the doorbell while we were trying to compose ourselves and wait for the police.
Did he just say murder and Christmas were his two favorite things? That is concerning.
It's concerning, but did a murder concerning, or is it just bad taste concerning? That's the question.
I mean, he's a Patriots fan, so I'd go for bad taste, maybe.
You are always so funny. You make me laugh so many times. That's true. Yes, yes.
And Magdalena kind of like pets the chair next to her and waves over Marilyn. I sensed something ominous when I arrived today.
Mhm.
You know, the cards spoke of conflict. Leah's aura was clouded with tension. I fear we're just beginning to unravel a tapestry. And she puts her cards on the table and just taps the top of them for emphasis. And then takes a big swig from her dark red wine.
Mhm. Has there been anyone else besides the family who has been by the house today?
One of the carolers outside is just, choking on their mulled wine over here.
Wow, that's so loud. That's someone should check on him.
Yes, wondering if through the window they heard the word murder. We never know. So Thomas, the soft-spoken brother, said, "Well, it was really only us. The food was delivered, but they didn't really come any further than the kitchen. They set up the catering, the dishes and the warmers and stuff. And really, I never thought it would come to this. I mean, Amelia had her quirks, but murder? It's unthinkable. We need to find out who did this and why."
Oh, yes, obviously. Let's see.
To a similar question, are all of the guests that you were expecting tonight here and accounted for?
So, and Everett, gets up and walks over to the bar cart too, and pours himself a drink, and with this grand gesture says, "Yeah, everybody's here, and trust me, everyone in this room now wants to know what Aunt Amelia left them in her will. I mean, that whole upset, when her parents died, and you know what, Thomas? Yeah, you didn't make out so well, did you? But knowing her, she probably left it all to Chestnut the Fourth and those other darn dogs that she liked."
Well, that tends to be the case when you are really invested in a pet and you have very eccentric family members. So good to see you all.
Who
And
gets
and
the
Skylar kind of pushes herself up and says, "You are unbelievable, Everett. You know you always get preferential treatment. Aunt Amelia practically turned you into a Hollywood prince. I had to work my way to the town. It's not fair, and now you're acting like this. She just died." There. She kind of sits down.
Yeesh.
who takes care of the dog after?
So right now, Caroline says, "Well, right now, I guess, I will take care of it until, we see what the will says. I don't think anybody else is going to volunteer." Yeah, and Helena, you would definitely know that Caroline, practically speaking, is the head of the Hawthorne family. I mean, yeah, Aunt Amelia is the one who got the money when she inherited from her parents. But Caroline is the one who now like organizes everything. She kind of gives it form. She makes sure everybody's like taken care of, and that everybody shows up for this, annual kissing of the rainbow, She is basically Thomas's daughter. I forgot to tell you.
Mhm.
So she is the niece. Thomas and what was his name? Jimmy were the brothers.
Okay.
Kind of got not all the money. So yeah, she's the one, she says, yes, I will take care of the dog until we know what she wanted. I mean, we certainly have our differences here, but the thing you need to understand about this family is that we are first and foremost Hawthorns. That comes before everything and everyone. Family.
Except when there's murder involved.
Especially when there's murder involved.
I was just asking because one of the things in these stories you hear about how a dog gets a beloved pet gets given everything in the will. A lot of the time, whoever's taking care of that pet gets to control that. Anything to say about that, Caroline?
It's like right now we don't really know anything. I mean, did she give anybody money? Did she give it all to the shelter? Did she set up Chestnut the Fourth and all of his puppies in the future off as a dynasty and they're gonna live in this house? Right now I'm just trying to hold it together.
When is the will supposed to have been read? Was it today, tomorrow, or?
Uh, the police hasn't even looked at her body yet. We have not set up the reading of the will.
Oh, my apologies. I thought it was going to be. It was like a review happening at this time. My apologies.
No. She was. She had not. To me, she had not said anything about the will. And she looks at everybody else. Did she say anything to y'all? And everybody just kind of. Oh,
Interesting.
I can see that the big carpet bag is like bumping. It's like Skylar gives it a side eye and said, Miss Birdie, why is your back moving?
Absolutely no reason. That's a perfectly normal thing for bags to do. Meanwhile, the
Mhm.
camera can see like Gordon's little eyes come up and like glare at the dog and then poke back down.
Yeah, I would say that from the dining room, which you have not really paid attention to, you can actually from the dining room see into what the whole family calls the chestnut room. It actually has a baby gate on it. It's basically a shrine to Amelia's beloved Pekingese companions, Chestnut 1 to 3, and now Chestnut 4. Um, the whole room like exudes warmth and affection. But the rest of the house kind of doesn't. There's framed portraits of the fluffy canines where they all look happy. Um, they're capturing moments of like joy and mischief. There's like plush dog beds all over the place. Each of them is adorned with like handmade blankets that she got from the market. Um, uh, you kind of, if you like lean towards it, you kind of smell that stale, nutty smell of like dog biscuits that still lingers in the air. And if you look in, there's like these two black empty eyes that look at you, because there is Chestnut the Fourth, who sits on a silky poof, holding court in front of his own Christmas tree with dog bone ornaments that stands proudly in the corner. He's on his poofy poof with his very, very shiny, jeweled tag that says Chestnut the Fourth in Roman numerals. And he's sitting on his poof and he looks at all of y'all with his like kind of empty black eyes.
There's something ain't right about that. It's giving a type of behavior, and I'm too polite to say that type of behavior. So I'm just gonna sit here and oh, this is mimosa. This is very lovely.
So Mother Hawthorne kind of gives that this like she heard you. She kind of gives it kind of this really mucusy kind of cough, like she was snorting, and then kind of rearranges her furs. And Avery, who's right next to her, kind of catering towards her, like they kind of left him in charge of her, even though he's like a nephew by marriage, basically, you know. And he says, "You think that's weird? Have you seen her Christmas room?"
I don't need to. I don't need to.
I mean,
It
it's
might
a
be a
candy
clue.
colored nightmare. I swear Amelia collected all that tacky crap just to dominate the idea of Christmas. It's like she wanted to be the queen of kitsch.
Helena, I no. I don't. I want to hope there's nothing to do with the murder in a room like that. Where you said it happened in her room?
In her bedroom, yes. I found her in her bedroom. I thought she was getting dressed up and ready for dinner. And when I went to retrieve her, that's when I found her still in her dressing gown.
Out of curiosity, was the dog in the room?
Oh,
Are you saying the dog did it?
I don't think the dog did
Caroline
it. I
says
think the dog was a witness.
she loves her dogs, but she really, really did not want the dog hair on her special dress for today. So he actually went into his room. This is why the doggy door's up now, and there's all his stuff in there. And you really can see that that's the only room that has warmth and affection and love in it. The rest of this house seems empty and performative, but she sure loved her dogs. So, and Magdalena sitting next to Marilyn, still shuffling her books. Maybe she wouldn't have to, collect so much Christmas crap to make herself feel this warmth with all of these shirts.
Yeah.
And she said, we did call Sheriff Dalrymple though, so he's going to close up.
We should check.
We should check.
We should check.
Before he
Under
messes it
her
up.
breath, like drinking her wine.
Can someone maybe escort us so we're not just wandering around your very lovely and kind of chilly home?
So, Caroline, you see her almost moving her hand towards Avery, and then realizing, my aunt is in our dressing room. Say, yeah. I'll take you. I'll take you. And as you guys get up, and you start, walking towards the grand staircase, you hear like the conversation like kind of ebb and flow, kind of punctuated by awkward silences and the occasional sarcastic remark from Uncle Jimmy, who seems to be less inclined to just drink and shut up once you guys are gone. And you can see that emotions are running high, ranging from concern and sorrow to bitterness and resentment. And that there is like an intricacy of this family dynamics that you only know the surface of, because, well, they ain't going to show that to nothing. So Caroline leads you up the stairs. And grab it. All right. So as you come up to her bedroom, it has these beautiful wooden double doors. that you see in these old Hollywood movies. She definitely had taste. She didn't know how to put feelings into it, but yeah, she had taste. And Caroline opens up these doors pretty dramatically. And you can see that Amelia Hawthorne's bedroom is like a tapestry of elegant decor. You see like floral prints and Tiffany lampshades. There's like a soft ambient glow that flatters older skin and maybe some sagginess of wrinkles and makes it look nice. You see that there's a vintage dress form in the corner with a very elegant, deep, dark green Christmas dress. There's a loaded bar cart that looks untouched, but shiny. There's no dust. And then you see the big king size bed with the canopy. And on it, you see Amelia Hawthorne. But the only thing that jumps out at you is the way the light glints off the strand of pearls. Once a symbol of her sophistication, she loved to show that off. That was her status symbol. It now hangs loosely around Amelia's lifeless neck, a lustrous sheen contrasting sharply with the pale, lifeless hue of Amelia's skin.
Does it look like there was a struggle in the room?
The bed is not made, but you can't really tell if there was a struggle on the bed or if it was just somebody sleeping like a rotisserie chicken. Basically, there doesn't seem to be anything knocked over, but go ahead and I will consider this a meddling move because you are like, searching for a clue. So I would say you got to roll 2d6 and we're going to roll with reason.
Okay. Reason.
As you're trying to find things that might be related. Reason for the viewers is basically our intelligence and how good we can figure things out.
That is a 10.
All right. So how do you go about looking for this information?
I guess just kind of going over everything very slowly, making sure my shoes are off first, before going into the room, and just doing a quick scan of everything before to see if maybe anything was out of place before getting to the bed, which seems to be the big focal point.
All right, let's see. So as you start looking around, you find an old yearbook that is just sitting on her nightstand. That is from Amelia, Thomas's, and Jimmy's high school days. Did any of our mavens go to school in this area too? Or did they move here later in life?
Moved.
Yeah, I think Helena moved as an adult.
Sure, Birdie went to school here. Why not?
I would think you were probably 2 years ahead of Emilia, and you were probably in Jimmy's year. So maybe she was a junior. You guys were seniors. What do you think you would find in that yearbook that would show off Birdie to people who would look at that yearbook? What would Birdie be in the yearbook for?
Birdie would be in the yearbook. I feel like she's never featured in like the front of any images, but any pictures she's just like in the background of like the school bake sale and she's behind the cash register, or like the grad dance, and she's like helping the DJ plug something in, and she has that like massive hair and the big square glasses and the braces, and is just like in the background of many photos, but even her own like main photo is kind of blurred, like she like moved real weird.
So, and since you're in the same year as Jimmy, and I'm guessing, but let's just say Thomas is right between you. Would you have crossed? I mean, I'm thinking Jimmy is the sports person. He would have been the one who peaked in high school, playing football, playing basketball, playing whatever sports there is. Thomas, he is now a financial advisor. He's very soft spoken. He would have been the math nerd, while Amelia would have tried to be a cheerleader. Not so much. Not so much. She did not really have the personality for it. So, as you remember that you went to school with her, what do you see in Amelia's bedroom that indicates that she had a much softer heart than her public persona would have you believe? Because everybody thinks she's a shrew. She is mean. She throws her weight around. You know, she flashes her money.
I think that if we're talking about someone who tried and failed to be a cheerleader, that there's going to be subtle signs of different like hobbies that she's tried to pick up and has then abandoned as her skill did not follow her to what she saw other people doing, at least as immediately as she had hoped for. So like I'm picturing like a sketchbook with 3 pages done and then abandoned. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
Mhm. So as you're looking around, you know what? Also, roll me a meddling move to see if, while you looking around for this person that know that she did not want to be the mean girl, but she had to. She was not good enough, basically, for her
Mhm.
family legacy.
Okay. Sorry, just remind me. That's one
Reason. It's 2d6 plus
2d6.
your
There we go.
reason score.
Fantastic. Thank you. That is an 8.
All right. So, since we're doing this on a scale, on a hit which is 10 plus, you find the clue. On a 7 to 9, there's a complication, and I will let you know what the complication is. Anything 6 and yeah, you find nothing. So you did find a clue. However, as you get it, you realize that you won't be able to use this in court because you have now contaminated this clue.
Mhm.
Right. Let's see. What clue have you contaminated? Nope, that is the news. That is not the clues. You find a plane ticket. A plane ticket to Rio de Janeiro. It was kind of stuck on her in her like vanity drawer, and as you pull it out, it kind of rips, and you cannot see who the ticket is for. So it's kind of hard to use as a clue because you don't know who that ticket was for. It's a one-way ticket. A
Is there a
one-way
date
ticket.
on it?
I don't know. Do they still do open tickets? I don't remember. I never bought an expensive ticket. Let's just say it's a
don't think
very
anymore.
expensive ticket for a private airline where you would then call and make the appointment. It's just something you would give somebody. So this will be a clue that you guys can use to theorize, but it doesn't actually tell you exactly. So it's not really that helpful.
Mhm.
unless you find a way to in together. So Caroline is she has kind of closed the doors a little, and there is a loud knocking on the door downstairs. And she says, "Oh,
Shit.
oh, that must be Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple." And she's like, "Ladies, ladies." And she
Right.
waves you out of the bedroom, and she closes the doors behind you. And you all descend the grand staircase towards the door. Are you guys waiting for Dalrymple, or are you going like exploring? Are you going back to the dining
No,
room?
I want to start interviewing people. This guy's useless.
I feel like one of us should go be like, "Hello, we're here. Fuck you," and then
I'll do it. I love instigating incompetent men.
All right. So think about what you other two want to do. If one of y'all, if you know, like snooping around, you don't want him stopping from looking around, or if you would want to talk to the people before he talks to them, just think about that while we do the little introduction, basically. So Caroline, you know, the niece, the one in charge, basically, in her red suit that now in hindsight might not have been the best choice. In deep red,
Or a very good choice.
or a very good choice, yes. Just I mean, what's the bread and water, right? She opens the door, and there stands Sheriff Wyman Dalrymple. He is yowly and pounchy. He speaks with a permanently exasperated tone. You know him. He knows you. You have shown him up before in the 10, 20, 200 episodes before. And he looks at Caroline and he says, "Miss Hawthorne, my condolences." Looks over her shoulder and sees Marilyn and goes, "Miss Marilyn, nice sweater."
I know. It was gifted to me by a loved one. I'm sure you don't know what that means.
As he takes a deep breath, Caroline looks like, "What?" Behind them, you see Deputy Sam Cooper. She is wearing plain clothes. She got her big old cell phone up. You know, she got one of the biggest cell phones, you know, and she's just barking into her cell phone and saying, you know, "I don't care if we don't have a CSI guy. You better get him over, and if he is out of cotton swabs, you better hit the Walmart." And you can see that because she's not wearing her uniform. It must have been her day off, and she's like swigging like cheap coffee from the knockoff 7-Eleven that has like the fake pretty outside, you know. And she swigs while she stops yelling, looks at you, and says, "Get him over here. I mean, this is murder. This is not." And then, you know, she steps back outside. And the sheriff just at Marilyn looks at Miss Caroline and says, please show me to your aunt." And then he looks at Marilyn and he says, "You don't get in the way."
Oh, that would be your job, my dear. I'm sorry. You probably should be retiring at this point. To be shown up by old women, not a great look.
Takes one to know one. And then they go up the stairs. And now,
that's why
while that
marriage
is
failed.
happening, where's Birdie going with her bumping carpet bag?
I know Marilyn absolutely didn't want to go to the Christmas room. Would anyone be sad if Birdie went to the Christmas room?
Go do it.
Great.
Go with
Birdie
my blessing.
absolutely needs to see the Christmas room.
Right. So in the Christmas room is actually what would be considered the front parlor. It's like one of these windows that you could see from the front of the house. And so as you know, you see Marilyn just like battleshipping it over to the door. You are heading over to the Christmas room. Let's see, the Christmas room. The music is somber. While I'm looking for the description, you get to the door. It is open. You step inside, and suddenly you hear a recorded voice saying, "Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!" And you look over, and there is like Santa Claus on the wall, kind of like one of those moving fishes, but he's doing the waving arm thing. He clearly got triggered by you walking into the room, screaming "Ho ho ho! Merry Christmas!" while you're still in the laser sight.
Amazing.
As you look over, the room is a perpetual winter wonderland. It is adorned with festive decorations, and it looks like they never get taken down. There's a model train that chucks along and an enormous track that is kind of going along the walls, up and down on one side. And you can hear the rhythmic clatter filling the air. And you realize that you were too distracted with everything else. That noise was there the whole time. This little model train noise. You kind of smell like a furniture wax and spray, like the fur kind. So somebody comes in here and dusts on a regular basis, and it's kind of comforting. It's kind of, well taken care of. And despite the perpetual holiday spirit, the room kind of, you're not sure if it's warmth or oppression. You want to say it's warmth, but it's also kind of a lot. A lot. It seems that Amelia desired joy. She had a perpetual desire for joy and wanted the Christmas cheer to feel eternal. But somehow she failed. What in this room feels off? What makes you feel oppressed? What is like, what do you see or what do you feel that reinforces this?
I think from what you've described, it would just be the sheer muchness of, when there's so many things stacked, so many layers deep, and so many colors and so many textures that it is physically not possible for you to take in any amount of what's going on. It just becomes a solid wall of sensation.
It definitely feels like there's a lot crammed into this room. If you want to search this room, you can absolutely do that. But I'm thinking we're gonna roll with composure because this is very oppressing, and you really don't want to be in here. I'm gonna have you roll with composure.
Okay. Rolling with composure.
And remember, if you used your cat as an advantage, you get to roll an extra dice because Gordon is like a cozy place thing, but Gordon does not get marked. Gordon can get in trouble over and over again to give you
100%.
advantage.
Gordon is out of the bag. Gordon is small and able to sneak through the Christmas village with like dainty little feet. All right, let's go. So So 3 dice plus 1
Take the
becomes
two
11.
highest.
Two highest.
The
Okay,
two highest.
Great. Okay, that's 10.
All right, that's good. So, you find something, but Gordon is the one who knocks it down, and it is kind of cracked once you find it.
I keep breaking the clues.
Because I just think he's the one who's walking up and down the shelves and trying to figure things out. And he's a guy. He gonna knock shit over. All right. So as you look around this very oppressive room and just trying to take in all of this, whatever it is, suddenly you hear like a whoop, but it's not a hard whoop. It's kind of soft. And you look down and you see there's a paper mache statue of Frosty the Snowman, but it's cracked. And inside, you see something. It looks like an electronic. And as you open it up, you realize there was a little security camera hidden in this paper mache Frosty the Snowman in the Christmas room. All right. You're still muted.
Okay. I said, well, that's suspicious. And then there's like okay, quickly like mash it back together, shove it back on the shelf, put it back on the bag. We have to go.
As you put it back where it was, you realize it was pointed so that you could see the whole room and the door. So it's kind of in the corner by the window. It has a pretty good view of the whole room and who comes in. You also realize there's no wires on it. It's not plugged in or anything. It's just almost like a nanny cam, which you would know because nieces and nephews. And from there, we're gonna go over to Helena. What as Marilyn is facing down the sheriff, and Birdie is breaking clues. What is Helena doing?
Okay. I think Helena is going to try to interview the guests, but is going to start with Jimmy and Everett, just because not because she thinks that they did it, but because they are the two that seem sort of the most the least composed, that they would let something slip and not try and like protect the family because they're not that on the ball.
So as you come back into the dining room, you actually see that Magdalena has gotten herself a little plate of like hors d'oeuvres from like a charcuterie board that was sitting in the corner. She's kind of just picking at it. Looks like she just wanted something to do with her hands that was not to throw cards, you know. Avery is still fussing over Mother Hawthorne. Thomas and Skylar are having a quiet talk about investing money. And it seems like she's trying to diversify as she's also grown older. And we know how the industry is. And Jimmy and Everett are both at the bar cart, kind of trading off color jokes and talking sports and making fun of the Barbie movie. They're those kind of people.
Now, do you mind if I just ask you a few questions real quick?
And Jimmy is kind of like, "Oh, pretty lady, as long as you drink with me, you can ask me many questions."
All right, sure.
And
I'll take whiskey straight up if you have it.
Jimmy kind of elbows Everett, and Everett is just kind of like, yeah. And he makes you your drink.
Immediately, just like the moment they're not looking, just like on the carpet, just like tossed sideways.
there is probably some poinsettias around that you could,
Yeah.
I will call this a day move because you're doing something risky because if they catch you just throwing it in the thing, they might not actually be listening to you
All right.
that much. So I want you to name what you're afraid of will happen if they catch you.
Basically that, I mean, she's nervous about just the awkward situation of just Jimmy hitting on her and is trying to keep it very sort of toned down, like I'm asking questions and I'll humor you a little bit, but let's keep this not weird or creepy.
All right.
Creepy
So
Jimmy.
what you are going to do is you're going to roll with composure. If you have anything that you have in your cozy place that you wanted to use for advantage, that you can think of how to incorporate, you can do that. Else, just roll the 2d6 plus composure because you're trying to keep it together. You don't want to offend him straight away. You don't want to come off like you're into it. You're just trying to keep your composure and be like,
Okay.
I'm a professional in an ugly Christmas sweater.
I don't think there's anything in my cozy place that would fit, but I have good composure, so. All right, that is a 12.
Very nice. So, on a 12, not only do you do what you intended and you hold steady, you also get an advantage on the next meddling move, which is, also gathering information or conducting research. When you're trying to get information from these two guys, because you're drinking with them and you're holding your liquor pretty good. You just shot that.
So, Helena's going to be like, I wanted to ask you because you seem like the two smartest young men here. So, we know, or at least our current knowledge is that Caroline found the body, but who was the last person to see Amelia?
So as Everett is kind of sipping from it, you can tell he's a little buzzed, but he's not, sloppy like Jimmy is. He kind of sips. He's like, I had to leave, some pretty special negotiations to get here, but this whole kissing of the ring thing, we have to do this every year. So I actually just got in time for dinner. I didn't even get to see my great aunt, and I have not gotten to see her now. I think. I mean, I have seen plenty of dead bodies in my career on set, but
They
that's
don't
just not
use
appropriate.
actual bodies in the movies, do they?
No, but they do look pretty real. I mean, special effects are really awesome.
Right, sure. So you came in
After my
never
great aunt, she had already retired to get dressed and get herself all pampered and ready. Maybe she should have.
right. So of course you have an alibi. You weren't here yet.
I mean, she was already upstairs when I got here. I mean, I don't know what I would need an alibi for. And, Jimmy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. That is the alibi.
So, and Jimmy is kind of like leaning on Everett, and he kind of starts cackling. And he's like, I know you don't really want to be here. I mean, if she wouldn't have, set you up and give you enough money to live off and, fix those ugly teeth you had as a teenager, you wouldn't be the star you are right now. It all comes at a cost, and there's always strings attached. And Everett just looks at him like, really? Really, dude? In front of other people? And you just like sip some more, and then he just turns around and says, "Let me check on my sister." And he just strides over to his where his sister and his Uncle Thomas, our great uncle.
Helena's gonna meet up with Birdie, and if Marilyn is done too, then also with her, and just be like, okay, Everett has no alibi. No one saw him until after she went up in her room.
So since Everett walked away, I will give you one meddling clue to see if you can wiggle some information out of him while there's nobody watching his drunk mouth. So go ahead and let's just say we'll do presence, because you're trying to like charm him and be like, you can trust me. You can trust me, and see if maybe
presence.
So 2d6 plus presence.
Oof. Well, at least it's a 7.
Actually, you had advantage on that. Roll another d6 and take the two highest.
Right. That's an 11, or no, a 10 actually.
All right, very good. So, Jimmy is being a little cagey about, you can tell he does not like it. There is some kind of resentment going on, some kind of long-standing family conflict. You're not sure what exactly it is. He's not quite, coming out of it, but you do hear him muttering that he did overhear an argument between Amelia and her lawyers when he came in. She was on the phone, and he overheard that. And she did hang out rather quickly, and then excused herself to get dressed upstairs.
Did you hear anything about what type of lawyer?
I am not so sure, but I mean, Thomas is the one who takes care of the money and the investing. I mean, she's not suing anybody as far as I know. I mean, I would have heard that. It's not like she wouldn't. I mean, maybe she was changing her will. I don't know. What other lawyer? What would she need? What would she need? And
exactly.
as he says, maybe it's about the will, and that would be just in the tradition of upsetting everybody, just like when our parents did it. And as that dong 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 moment hits, the camera fades away, and it is time for our commercial break. So, thinking we're starting with a reverse mortgage, and let's see where the commercial break leads us. We will be back in 15 minutes. Gonna get some water, and our murder mavens have already found 3 clues. How we're gonna figure out who did it, you'll know, because nobody knows who actually did it. I don't. Let's find out together, and I'll see you guys in 15 minutes.
Hello and welcome back to Girls Run These World's Holiday One-Shots. Today we're playing a cozy murder mystery of the holiday season. It is a Brindlewood Bay One-Shot, and the name of our episode is Jingle Bell Shock. Our group of murder mavens, the local elderly ladies book club, have caroled themselves into a murder mystery while wearing their ugly Christmas sweaters. They have made some inroads, found some clues, but they're not quite sure yet what in the world's going on with this crazy Hawthorne family. When we left off, Helena had just finangled another clue out of Jimmy the drunk uncle in his Patriots, sweater, and was about to join the other mavens. So, as the show returns from commercials, it comes in on Brindlewood Bay. It is kind of dark. The sun's gone. The ocean is choppy. Brindlewood Bay is lit up. There is lights everywhere. Everybody is getting into the seasons and wanting to get that money out of the tourists for sure. And, just making it look better like their neighbors because, that's the dream, right? The camera swoops through the snowflakes and it comes up on this beautiful Victorian and inspired Hawthorne Manor. Through one of the windows in the front, we see the famous Christmas room with the train just chugging along. Through an upstairs window, we see Sheriff Dalrymple checking out the crime scene where Amelia Hawthorne was strangled with her very sophisticated pearls. And as we come back into the grand foyer by the grand staircase, what are our murder mavens talking about and how are they going to tackle this mystery?
All right. So apparently apparently Amelia was contacting a lawyer a little bit before she went up to her room, and she apparently Jimmy didn't know who, or what kind of lawyer, but she wasn't suing anyone, and he thinks that she may have been changing her will.
Well, maybe it had something to do with either whoever was surveilling her in the Christmas room or whoever she was surveilling using a camera hidden in Frosty the Snowman.
There are some words I like to say about this family, but I am too kind to say that they need therapy. I will say that at the very least.
Oh, honey, I think they need more than therapy at this point.
That is very valid, my friend. Very valid, Birdie. So far, I haven't been doing too much, just antagonizing the copper, mainly
An
because it throws him
important
off his
task.
game. Yeah, we have to throw him off his game. We can't have him trying to win one on us now.
Not that he could, but
Not that he could, but just make sure to just dig the knife in more.
as he deserves.
Keep him out of the way.
Exactly. Frazzle the brain.
Also, the boy, little
Everett.
movie star boy,
Mhm.
he wasn't here until after she went up to her room. So I told him that that was his alibi because I don't want him cottoning on or anything, but he could have, I don't know, climbed up a drain pipe. Or were there any windows in that room?
Yes, really stretching my memory, but I'm gonna say yes.
Maybe he snuck around back.
I would say she probably has a balcony with one of those double doors with like a little metal table outside that she never used. But yeah, so she could paint outside or take her coffee or do any amount of kind of, sophisticated stuff. She never did. So as you guys are in the foyer, the unlocked doors open again, and the deputy Sam Cooper comes stomping back in. She's now carrying a crime scene kit, and she is pissed. She is mad like a hornet, and she's just still on her phone, yelling at that poor crime scene tech that got stuck in the snow. That is not going to make it. And she is yelling at him that she has to, uh, you know, dust up the old set that the sheriff keeps in the back of his car that, has seen decades and has probably never been used. And she just kind of stomps by you guys up the stairs towards the bedroom.
How likely do you think we could maybe convince her to let us do it and she can like take a nap?
Oh, she would deserve it. If anyone needs a raise, it is that deputy.
Mm-hmm. Um, Sam, Deputy Sam, one moment of your time. One moment of your time, please.
So, go ahead and roll me a meddling move with presence to see if she will, pay attention to you because, she is kind of busy.
That's fair. That's fair. I have no presence, so let's see how this goes.
If you have anything in your cozy place that might help you with this, anything that
Mm,
make you louder or more noticeable, I don't know.
not really. Unless she's really knows. Actually, I do have a book of people and it's notes of everyone in town. I don't know if she's the type to be nosy, but maybe that.
Looking at your list,
Do you have notes on her?
I mean, the thing is, she's on her phone. I wouldn't really, even if she knew about it, it wouldn't really take her, like, get her attention. It's not like, you,
Do I have notes on her from my book? Like, what type of notes would I have on her?
you would probably know that she is, you know, the only other deputy in Brindlewood Bay. There's one sheriff and one deputy, and that is it. Um, that the rest will like rotate in from the state. It's one of
Mhm.
those situations, but they only really have reason to keep them. So she is overworked and stuck with the paperwork a lot of times.
What brings her joy?
Hmm, what would bring her joy? Probably sleeping in and not having to listen to Dalrymple. And I'm guessing she likes it when people know their jobs.
I have an offer for you to make your day even better.
Right. All right, go ahead and roll me.
I got an 8.
All right, with an 8, she will look down at you and say, "I'll take you up on that, but first I got to do this."
But what if we can do it for you? See, come here, come here, come here. My proposal to you. You know that we are relatively good at doing this job more than the sheriff. So what I'm proposing for you, there's a car out back where the carolers were using to take some of their breaks. Nap in the car, give us the kit, and we can do the job for you. We'll give you all of our notes, but take this time for the next 15 minutes. Just take a nap because you deserve it. And also take some hot chocolate.
So you can tell she's thinking about it. She is really thinking about it. And then she hears Sheriff Dalrymple's voice upstairs talking to Caroline. And she realizes that you would have to go in there while he's there. And she will get in trouble. So she looks at him and she said, "I can't really do that. He's gonna see you guys. But once we're done, I can let you come in and do it. I can overlook that you're going after me. I can overlook that and let you come in before, the coroner gets here, because, we had to call over to,
You know what? That
the
works
town with the Walmart that I never named. It's just a Walmart town now.
that works perfectly fine. Hey, you're doing a fantastic job.
So as she nods to you, and she goes back up the stairs, and Sheriff Dalrymple is yelling from her. Um, Katie, Birdie hears barking from the kitchen. That's not where you saw Chestnut the fourth last. He was in the Chestnut room, and now you hear barking from the kitchen. And Gordon is like peeking out of the back, like, oh.
Oh dear. Better go see what all that is about.
Oh, joy. Some dog drama. I love it.
Listen, this whole family is drama. You thought the dog was going to be immune from that? The dog's the most dramatic one in this family.
Honestly, I did have a small hope.
So as you three move towards the kitchen, um, Sheriff Dalrymple comes to the edge, leans over, and kind of, Marilyn is the last, and say, well, if it isn't the murder mavens, ready to dazzle us with their unparalleled deductive prowess. Let me guess, you already solved the case in your head, didn't you? So he's kind of holding you back, and as he yells, Gordon jumps out of the bag and runs into the dining room.
Go, Gordon, go!
Birdie, Gordon! Now, as you know, two of our murder mavens are distracted. Helena, you make it into the kitchen, and as you looking into the kitchen, you see Avery, which interestingly, he's married to Caroline, but his last name is Partridge. You just realized. And with him is Mother Hawthorne, and over by the automatic dog feeder, is Chestnut the Fourth, yelling at the machine to give him his food as the time kind of uh, ticks down. You can see it has only like 30 seconds left in it. So, see if I can wrote that down. Where's the kitchen? There. So as you look into the kitchen and you see these three people there, the kitchen is enormous. Island, stainless steel, marble surfaces, modern luxury. You hear the thrum of Chestnut the Fourth's automatic feeder, not fever. You realize the kitchen is pristine and untouched. The food for the feast is set up in catering warmers. Now, what in this kitchen do you see, or how do you now know that Amelia and the other Hawthorns have never used this space to cook a meal? Not once.
I think that there's like even on like uh a coat hook in the kitchen, there's a what's the word, apron that has like the name of a catering company on it, and it's definitely like something that someone would hang up just briefly and maybe forget about, but if someone used the kitchen, it would be something that they noticed and like either returned or got rid of. So it's like no one uses this room.
There is not even thumbprints on the stainless steel fridge. There's also nothing stuck to the outside of the fridge, which is kind of sad if you think about it. I mean, no artwork, no pictures, no nothing. And you see, Chestnut is barking at the automated feeder. Mother Hawthorne in her furs, in her little rolling chair thing with her furs, And she kind of just imperiously just like a chestnut. And Avery just like he looks really bitter, and he's like, Mother Hawthorne, I don't know how to fix this thing. There is nobody here who knows to fix this thing. Emilia doesn't have any help. She did not hire no help. And she just like this imperious, this wrinkly face, and just like at the dog. Like, fix this right now. And Avery kind of like, oh, let me go see. And he leaves towards the dining room, leaving you with Mother Hawthorne kind of not looking at you, and the timer on the food counting down. That you know will dispense food.
Mhm. Helena is going to take the apron and put it on, hiding her nephew's face on the ugly sweater, and we'll just say, "Oh, I think I might be able to fix that for you." It should just take about, how much time is left on the timer?
About 10 seconds. She's just so
about 10
annoyed with the
seconds
yuppie
to
dog.
fix.
You probably tap the top of it, and it
Yeah,
starts
she's
spitting
just
out
like
dry
with her
food.
mouth is like boop 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 boop.
So, and as you do that, and the food comes falling out, and Chestnut is just like yeah, he's clearly a little overweight, and he's a little bit on a diet, and she kind of, you can hear that she, and just like her bony hand comes out a little bit. I want you to roll a meddling move with advantage, because she
Okay.
thinks you're the help and you just did her a favor, to see if you can get any information out of Mother Hawthorne, who doesn't talk to nobody. Because
And meddling is what stat again?
let's just say we'll do composure. How good can you hold together without, because you're pretending to be somebody. How can you hold your composure without breaking out of the role?
All right. That is a 12.
Right. That is very good. Oh, excuse me. So, as you like bend over Mother Hawthorne, what do you say to her? What are you trying to find out from her?
I think just, is just going to she's just going to be like, I'm so sorry about everything that's happened, by the way. It's wild to think that it was the murderer could still be here. If you want me to keep someone away from you or make sure that you stay safe, just let me know.
So, and since you did roll a 12, she kind of, in her first, with her, she just, you see her bony little hand, and kind of pats you on your hand, and then in this whispery, kind of grating voice, she said, I have looked into the gloaming eyes of death many times now. Each time I have told that palate harming, no, not today. Today's not the day I take your bony hand in mine. And she grabs your hand and walk to that shadowy round beyond the black gate. You can do that too, my dear. You can fix your gaze upon the Reaper and decline his cold affections. The more intriguing question is why. She kind of gets closer, and you feel her, like, her old person breath, and she smells like baby powder on top of it. And she says, why do it? Why should I want to keep living in this frail body, barely seen to by kin who no longer remembers my name? Why should I want to keep silently tittering in this husk? Because I want to see the looks upon their faces when they realize it's all coming to an end. And then,
So
she kind of slips into her furs, and she like pulls out a letterhead, like a letter that she kind of was hiding in her furs. And it came from a law firm that, even you as a newcomer have heard about, which is the law firm of Sterling, Evelyn Sterling Esquire, is Sterling and Smith. And you know that they are an established firm, and that they have been counseling, the rich people here for a long time. And on the letterhead it says, we specialize in family estate planning, or estate planning services, trusts, power of attorneys, and other instruments tailored to meet the specific needs of our clientele, of our select clientele. And it confirms a phone appointment to adjust the will for Emilia Hawthorne. And that was set for today. And she kind of just hands it to you. And
Thank you.
says, "Do with this as you wish, dear." And she
Will
kind of
do.
looks at the dog. And then Avery comes back in, and he's like, "Nobody knows how this." Oh.
Oh, don't worry. I fixed it.
Oh, I didn't know the catering people came back, but thank you. And he kind of, would you like to go back to the dining room? And she kind of just like points, doesn't even talk to him, and he like rolls her back over, chestnut goes, So yeah, you have now found another clue, which is proof that yes, she was going to change her will today.
And
She had a Zoom call.
Can we meet up again?
Absolutely, because I would think that after snarking back at the sheriff, Marilyn would probably because they would come back to follow you because they just got distracted. Oh, shiny! It's like catch Gordon before he gets into the dining room and gets into the catering food or the charcuterie board. Marilyn snapping at down, and they would just come back to you and see you in the apron, and Chestnut scarfing his food.
Ugh.
Ah, yes. Caterer, have you any figgy pudding?
No, because no one's eaten that since the 1800s.
What does that even
Wow.
taste like? Does anybody ever try that? It's just, I don't know.
Aprons aside, what let's go back into the parlor. That detective annoys the crap out of me.
But at least you have an in with the deputy.
Yes, that's true. We have another chance to go back in.
And we confirmed not only was she changing her will, but she had an appointment scheduled to change her will with this law firm. We might want to, well, they have that whole attorney-client thing, unfortunately. But if we can figure out who else figured out about that appointment.
Did the appointment already happen, or was it just set for today?
I think that's what she was on the phone about before she went upstairs.
Oh, got it. Hmm. But who would?
And the question is, what part of the will was she changing? Like, is she changing finances? Is she changing something for Chestnut the Fourth? Is she changing her power of attorney?
Oh, yeah, that is true.
Mm.
Who was the power of attorney? I'm assuming it was probably blinking on
I'm assuming
me.
Thomas, the financial advisor, would be the brother,
Or
Yes.
Caroline, Caroline the
or
niece.
Caroline, the niece.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It is very interesting. Either of them did not know, allegedly, that there was work being done on the will. If I would assume if you are in charge of finances or helping take care of her, you would at least have some idea. So maybe we need to talk with them a little bit more in depth.
Maybe they had too many ideas.
Mm. Where is Jimmy and where is Caroline right now?
So Caroline is still upstairs with Sheriff Dalrymple and the deputy, waiting for the coroner who hasn't shown up yet. Everybody else should be back in the dining room because Mother Hawthorne and Avery Partridge were in the kitchen because Chestnut was being a menace. But yes, they're back in there. So
Let me look at the rules real quick.
so yeah, if you come closer to the dining room, you will see Magdalena with her cards, and she'll kind of wave you over,
Mhm.
and she is like with her cards, and she pulls one out. He said, as I arrived earlier today, I drew a card from my deck as soon as I crossed the threshold of the front door. The Nine of Swords. That's a very bad sign, a sign of conflict. I knew right away something terrible was going to happen. Cards never lie. And then she looks over at the great niece and the great nephew, Everett and Skylar. These two have been at each other's throats since you guys left this room. I mean,
Why? Do you know
sibling
why?
rivalry, but oh man. I mean, he's like, brr, 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 I'm rich as fuck. I don't really care about the will. Blah, blah, blah. She probably left it all to the dogs. Being, a butthead. And then, Skylar is all like, you know what? I don't even know why you're so high and mighty. You weren't always the leading man alive. Growing up, you were chubby, you had a huge nose, and you stuttered. And just because Aunt Amelia loved you and she helped you fix all of that junk, you
Mm.
know, she only cared about that and damn dogs. Yeah, it turns out you can't turn a frog into a prince with enough money.
I think maybe we may need to talk to one of the kids, probably Skylar, because she just seems a lot more angrier than everyone else. There's a lot of anger there for such a very tiny lady.
So, and as a reminder to the viewers, the writers have kind of snuck in, Magdalena saying, Skylar and Skylar and Everett are Caroline's kids, and they sure don't take after Avery. He is just, uh, he's just a mess.
Trying to think.
Ever since I know I didn't agree with that, but ever since Amelia had to make sure that the kids get the Arthur name instead of his last name, I think he was just checked out. I mean, even though she kind of gave him seed money for their real estate business, I mean,
Hmm.
Mm.
I don't know why, but I feel like this could be maybe a Gold Crown mystery move, but I don't know how to work this in.
all right. So you would think you would basically look at the other saying, hey, This reminds me of something that Amanda Delacour did. And then you would have to tell me the name of the mystery. You get to make that up. The problem and the solution that, or the problem or the situation that she found herself in that is similar to what you're doing right there, and how Amanda overcame the problem or the solution. And then you get to make a roll. And if you roll good, you get to state a fact or take a good roll for something that is related.
I think I'll hold off on this, and actually, I think I'll use my Maven move on this instead to see if maybe I can pierce through something.
All right. Tell our viewers, what is Marilyn's special move?
So my special move, if I get back to my character sheet, is the Maven move called Father Brown. So once per mystery, I can narrate a flashback from the perspective of the unknown killer. Nothing in the flashback is necessarily true, but when I'm done, I get to ask the other Mavens to define a clue based on what was narrated. And it can't conclusively solve the mystery itself, but it could be helpful. So Marilyn sits down and pulls out her own deck of cards because she always keeps that on hand and just starts going through them and just closing her eyes and letting the cards try to speak with her as she's thinking of the scene. I see a shadow, anger is starting to well up within them. There was a time of so much joy and excitement, probably for the season. But then a revelation came crashing down, and now there's nothing but rage and pain and sorrow. Maybe they heard something. Maybe they saw something, but they know that they have to do something. And then there was chaos as they get into Amelia's room. She tells them to leave, but they just keep going closer. And then everything goes black. I see the Four of Wands, the Page of Wands, and the reverse Knight of Swords. Joy, anxious, chaos. Just like this household. I wonder what that means. So, with that being said, what type of clues can be pursed from this? I would hope maybe someone.
Yeah.
There has to have been someone who heard the conversation, maybe.
Yeah, I'm thinking that Birdie and Helena, now that you have heard that reading, what clue would you take from that reading that you think would help? Remember, it can't be too specific. It cannot point straight directly at somebody and solve the mystery, but it might help you theorize.
Maybe something about when Skylar got to the party, since we already know that Everett was late.
How would you relate that back to the reading that she gave?
trying to remember what the tarot cards mean.
Essentially, happiness, revelation bringing anger, and then action essentially boils down.
Maybe. Sorry, you go.
I was just going to say, if we have revelation bringing anger from joy, we could, using this narrative that we already have with the phone and the lawyers, say that that phone call was overheard by somebody, and that's our revelation that now has sparked this.
Mhm.
Heck yeah, we could definitely say that one of your clues is one of the suspects has overheard the changing of the will. Somebody in this family knows what the will is going to be changed to.
Now the key is figuring out who.
Where did you set the cards down? Did you do it in the foyer? Did you do it in the kitchen? Where do you think you set up for your reading?
Probably next to Magdalene, because
Magdalena, yeah.
yeah, Magdalena.
Right. So as you're doing all of this and you're all sitting in your little old lady huddle, basically, Sheriff Dalrymple with his big pouch first comes to the door, and he looks at you guys and he says, "What would we do without the murder mavens? I mean, who needs a seasoned sheriff and this deputy with years of experience when we have a group of book clerk detectives ready to crack the case wide open with tarot cards?"
Well, at least you recognize our talent and superiority compared to your buffoonery.
And like I said the last time, like years ago, your daughter not talking to anymore. I tried to warn you. The tarot cards don't lie, and you just decided to say, "Oh, hogwash." How is she doing, by the way? Oh, wait, I forgot. You don't know. I still get postcards from her, so go away.
So there's Jimmy sitting in his chair drinking, and he starts busting a gut laughing, like
Good.
Santa laughing, like I am about to fall off this chair laughing, and everybody is just like, oh. And Caroline walks in, and the only thing she sees is Jimmy laughing, and she's like, "What is going on here? This is disgraceful, disgraceful." So, and with this, we're going to be getting into our theorizing uh, phase, which is where, and I quote, "We have an open, freewheeling discussion about the solution to a mystery. Once you have gathered, your clues, you will, see if you can reach a consensus. We will count up all the clues that you have incorporated into your theory, and then we'll roll and see if you're right. Because we started this, nobody knows. We don't know who did it. We don't know why. I don't know either, which is why I love this game. So let's start the freewheeling brainstorming. Who did it and why? And how can you bring your clues in? Would one of you like to review the clues for the viewers?
Sure. All right. So the clues that we had our contaminated clue, the plane ticket to Rio de Janeiro that was ripped while being pulled from the vanity drawer. It is for a private airline with an open date. We have the broken clue, the paper mache statue of Frosty the Snowman with a wireless security camera hidden inside, pointed as to see the whole room and the door. We know that Everett got in quote unquote just in time for dinner and quote unquote had not had the chance to see his great aunt. We know that Amelia was on the phone with her lawyers and hung up rather quickly, not believed to be suing anybody, and we know that Thomas typically takes care of the money. We have the letter with the letterhead from a law firm of Evelyn Sterling Esquire, the Sterling and Smith, an established firm counseling the rich and specializing in family estate planning, trusts, POAs, etc. The letter confirms a phone appointment that was meant to take place that very day. And finally, our Maven clue, in which we believe that someone in the family overheard that phone appointment and knows why, how, and what ways the will is being changed.
So don't forget you found the yearbook.
Oh, yes, and the yearbook.
So the only thing here that we cannot count as a complete clue for the count wise would be that Everett didn't get here in time. That's that was very good investigating, but it wasn't officially a clue. So you guys basically have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 clues that you can incorporate in your theory, and every clue that you incorporate will give you a bigger modifier and make it easier to be right about who did it.
I'm slightly leaning towards Avery, mainly because right now he's kind of separated from the family. He has not taken on the family name. Because Mother Hawthorne asked him to fix something, I'm going to go with the assumption maybe is slightly handy at times, so maybe he set up the cameras. And also, I think because he does like a lot of the running around and assisting people, he may have been the one to hear. The main thing, I believe, the plane ticket was probably for him.
Oh.
Maybe as a get the fuck out of this family, please.
But then why would it be in Amelia's bedroom?
Yeah, I think based on what Grandma said, I think Amelia was planning to, she has all of these failed hobbies and things like that. I think she was planning to leave and get out and abandon her life and go to Brazil.
If I could, we have this house that feels so cold in all the areas that are public and that the family can be in, but that are bursting entirely with personality in the areas that Amelia has done for herself. However, even those areas aren't safe for her, right? She has this surveillance. We could marry those two ideas together and say that Amelia was trying to get out and go to Rio, potentially with Avery, if Avery, being the outsider here, had been the one to alert her of like, hey, this situation is fucked. And also, I'm not sure that you're safe. And she's like, maybe I shouldn't just let everyone else be controlling my affairs. And Avery was trying to like help her wrest back some of that control from her will and power of attorney, et cetera, just if we want to push those two ideas together.
I think you go first.
Well, then if he was helping, then I think that it would have been either Caroline or the twins, like someone in his immediate family who found out through was piecing things together through like discovering his stuff and then overheard the conversation.
I think if we're following that train, I feel like that may put Skylar in a bit of more position of being a suspect, because she had that whole bit in the beginning about how she had to work for everything. So if she found out about a will change and it's not something she's happy about, she'll probably feel more inclined, well, I did everything, I put into effort, I deserve a bit more. And so reacting in that way about it instead.
Mhm.
But then I think that, I mean, we could also, like, if she, like, she might be the mastermind, but then she gets her brother to, he's an action movie star. Maybe he does his own stunts. He can climb up in a window and, do her dirty work.
You guys did see Skylar and Thomas Hawthorne, which was Amelia's brother, talk about money earlier. I mean, Everett and Skylar were kind of at each other's throats. And Skylar, the only person you saw talking to she was talking to Thomas.
Mm.
And if you're thinking about it, how could you bring the yearbook in? What might be in the yearbook that might...
I think the yearbook we had noted that Thomas was like a bit of a nerd and like right, and we had to like with his maths and things like that, and for all Amelia was the failed cheerleader, he definitely would have been the outsider between his jock brother and his cheerleader sister, as failure as she may be.
He's the gifted child, but his the parents liked their failed daughter Amelia much more and gave her all the money in the will. And now she's not even spreading it around. She's going off to Rio.
Right. So if we're looking through the clues, the Maven clue would be that, who overheard that the will's being changed? Do you think Thomas overheard, or do you think Skylar overheard?
I think maybe Skylar, just to how openly angry she is.
Now, here's the question. Because we had talked about Skylar having heard things from Avery as well. So do we think that Skylar was on this full sleuthing and then like knew that when the call was going to be and positioned herself and then she informed Thomas? Or do you think Thomas like put her onto the path of sleuthing? Like, how do we think that connection happened?
Maybe once she's sleuthed enough, she confronts Thomas.
That's what I was thinking.
He's the money guy.
Like I highly doubt that she knows like all the intricacies of a will. So maybe going to the person who knows about finances and being like, "Hey, I overheard X, Y, and Z. What the heck does that mean?" And he like confirmed everything. I think that may have been that connection.
So what do you guys think she was trying to change her will to?
Taking her brother off of it.
I just think it would be so funny if the brother and Skylar are obsessed with it being like about the money, and that it's actually just, while I'm in Rio, this person's taking care of the dog. Like,
if anything happens to me in Rio.
Or a will so Chestnut is taken care of. Maybe he has asthma and he can't go to Brazil. So, and then, if, let's say, maybe Skylar realized Avery was being off. Because we still got to see who put the snowman into the Christmas room. And, well, maybe she took the call in the Christmas room, but who put the snowman into the Christmas room to, figure out what she was, talking about on the phone, or what she was doing in there.
See,
or if it had nothing to do with the phone call.
I think the snowman preceded this like investigation, and is like, I think that's the reason why she and Avery were planning on going to Rio, was like, fuck this house. Fuck the people who watch me in my Christmas room. Fuck their cold furniture.
Thomas is trying to like keep an eye on things, maybe because he's the responsible brother, but he's crossing some boundaries there, and she is the one that is like, okay, well then I'm going to Brazil.
Get passed over for the money once before, and their parents were using the same law firm. So both basically, Amelia got everything in the will, and the other two, Jimmy and Thomas, just didn't. They didn't get a lot. They reacted differently, didn't they? One, made in with her and became her financial advisor. The other one, became the black sheep of the family, thrice divorced, slight alcohol problem.
I think Skylar is still involved in a way, but now my thought is mainly looking towards Thomas a bit more because he has been the responsible one, but also curse of the middle child, just overlooked. I think he kind of just got fed up with it after finding out about the will. I think he ended up just getting too fed up and took action. Because I personally don't think it was Jimmy. He's just a sad case that really needs to go get some help.
Yeah. I think maybe Skylar and Thomas, once Skylar's sleuthing panned out and they could put all the pieces together, maybe they conspired together.
Is it supposed to be just one murder, or can multiple be involved?
That is completely up to y'all.
Oh, okay, cool.
That is the nice thing. We do not know. I didn't even know what clues were going to be used to. And you guys made up a clue. So there is no set outcome whatsoever. Once you have a consensus, we're going to do the math. One of y'all is going to roll, and we're going to see if it's true or not.
Okay.
So from the yearbook, we know that Amelia was she failed. So you have the proof that, she was always trying to make up for it. Jimmy peaked in high school, and Thomas was always the overlooked nerd. So you could say that shows you that she was always a failure, and she was desperate to, make something of herself or have something for herself. I heard that the plane ticket is for her. So that's two we have incorporated. We said that the paper mache statue, Thomas put that up because he was trying to keep an eye on her because he was getting suspicious of what she was doing. Maybe she was making money moves without him, and he didn't like that at all because, well, he already got held out of a will before and screwed over. Looking at the next one, we know that she was on the phone with her lawyers. We actually have two clues for that. One that there was this call that was overheard, and that if Jimmy could overhear it, somebody else probably heard them, and she was ready to hang up, which was probably the appointment that was mentioned in the other one. And then we know that whoever overheard this, which you have to decide who, is the one who knows if the will's been changed, which means you would have incorporated all 6 clues. Once you come to a consensus, who's the one who strangled her with the pearls, and if they did it with help or not, we're gonna let you guys choose on what vibes who's gonna roll and see if it's true.
I think it was Thomas who did the strangling.
I think it was Skylar that overheard the
convo. Okay.
So do we think Skylar knew that there was going to be a murder, or was she just a cat's paw that was used by Thomas?
part of me hopes that wants to believe that she didn't. Like she's just angry because she found out, but I don't think.
I want to say like she didn't know ahead of time, but she's not mad about it. Like that's the
Yeah,
vibes I get.
she's like, oh no, oh well, that happened.
Mm-hmm.
Guess she might not have had time to sign it because, maybe they didn't send it to her in a PDF, to sign it online. Makes sense. Makes sense. So now that we decided that Thomas is the one who snuck upstairs and strangled her because he thought he was going to get caught out of the money again, that resentment was still there. He was always a second fiddle to his sister. He was always, having to cater to her, and he just had enough. So, which one of y'all wants to roll and see what the outcome of our case is? Oh,
No.
To be fair, you have
Alright.
been getting great rolls.
You have.
Right. So what we're going to do is the complexity of this mystery is 7. So what we are going to do math-wise is you're going to roll 2 dice. We're going to have these 2 dice plus the 6 clues minus the 7 complexity, which will be your outcome. So you have a -1 on your 2 dice.
Okay. Here goes.
Let's see if our mavens have solved the case.
Well, -1, that is an 8.
Ooh. Okay. So the dice say it is the correct solution. But there's an unwelcome complication. Or there is a complicated or dangerous opportunity to take down the culprit or save the day. So what I am thinking is that as you're discussing this, you hear the back door open and close. And you hear footsteps down the back steps. Hurried. Like someone is taking off. That person might have hurt you guys.
You incompetent detective, do your job.
All right, so what are you going to do? Are you going to go after them?
All
Whoever
right.
it is that's running? Probably Thomas?
I just think the funniest way to deal with this would be for one of the mavens to pull out their cell phone and signal the caroling bat signal so
Yeah!
that all of the carolers converge in a circle outside the house, and this man cannot get past the line of singing ugly Christmas sweatered joyous merriment.
I have my cell phone in the back, so yeah, I'll do it.
All right, which means I will have you roll with advantage, and we're gonna roll composure.
Okay,
It's what I'm gonna say, because either that or presence.
please
Nah,
composure.
let's say composure, because you're holding it together. Somebody is running, and you're trying to come up with a way to stop that person.
That is a 10.
All right, with a 10, you send out the bat signal, but if you don't do something else, he might still get away. But as you say that, you look over and there is something orange scratching
I was about to
at the
say,
back
the cat!
door.
The cat! Bring out the
Go,
cat!
cat, go! Go, cat, go! Open the door for the cat!
So, I am thinking that you can send Gordon to slow Thomas down.
I'm just picturing like action movie, like cat leap, like full extension, full claws just onto his head.
So, what I am imagining is you're standing in the back door. Snow is falling. You can still smell some of the smoke from the surrounding fireplaces. Uh, the caroling has stopped, and there's a lot of stomping and a lot of yelling, and doors that are banging open. Um, Out of the dining room, the door flies open. You know, it's one of those swinging doors. He probably bonks himself in the head while he's doing it. The sheriff, Dalrymple, comes out, followed by Sam, and what he sees past the old ladies, he sees Thomas Hawthorne running for his life, and then an orange cat jumps on his back and starts clawing in his hair and ripping off his toupee.
Get Gordon some treats for the holidays.
And at that moment, you see Sam, the deputy, hoofing it
Go, Sam.
and clasping him into handcuffs. And with that, our murder mavens have saved the day once again, and Jingle Bell Shock has come to an end.
Yay!
All right. So after we're gonna have our little roundabout, and I want to hear what everybody else is doing. We will be rating Live Laugh Lindy today, so stick around for that. But first, we're gonna go around, and we're gonna I want to hear everything that you're doing. So, Aaron, tell us where we can find you and what you're up to.
All right. So, again, I am Erin. You can find me on Vale's Edge Games pretty much everywhere. Um, I will be doing later this month on the 27th, I will be doing a charity stream with Live from the Apocalypse. So come check that out. And yeah, just check me out on social media.
Absolutely. And if you're here, you will find all of these links that Voice from the Sky will put into the chat so you can click on it for ease. Now, Miss Ava, tell us about yourself and what you're up to.
Of course. Hello, my darlings and dears. It's your mother, Ava, here. You can find me anywhere at Madam Ava Couture. I'm mainly still on Twitter. That man has not kicked me off yet, so I'm going to go down with that ship. But you can find my Beacons account where you can see the stuff that I'm a part of. This is my last game of the year, so I'm going to just be chilling. But come January, I'm going to overwork myself as I tend to do. So happy holidays, guys.
Awesome. All right, Katie, let us know.
Hi everyone, I'm Katie. You can find me on Twitter at the Katie McLean because I am adrift in the internet and don't know where else to go. This is also my last game of the year, so until January, I'll just be finishing this hat.
Oh, that sounds so cozy. And I am Vivacia, and I was your storyteller for today. On the internet, I have given up on Twitter. I am now on Threads at the same name, Miss Vivacia. I also have a contact in bio. Um, this is also my last game of the year. If you love these ladies, reach out to them, hire them, pay them. You want them to run a game for you? You want them to play for you? You want them on a podcast? Reach out and hit them up. Also, if you have an idea for a game, pitch it because you know, girls run these worlds. We always want more. So far, I have no new plans for next year, but something's coming. Something's coming. Also, if you did like this game, it is called Brindlewood Bay, and it is a lot of fun. And if you're playing it in a long game, it might have some Cthulhu under themes, just for fun. And with that, I think we're gonna get ready to raid out. Thank you so much for being with us. Um, Remember, the channel goes dark on the 23rd, and we will be back next year. And enjoy, your free time if you have any, and if not, rest. Just take care of yourself. Thanks for being with us.